she 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 got the more funded project in DSTI. Like that, she got more funded project. We are truly grateful for his presence today. To your valuable time and guidance means a lot to us, ma'am. On behalf of the Department of Civil Engineering and PSC College of Engineering, I extremely warm and respectful welcome for Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Kulsan Taj, ma'am. Now I'm request her to kindly accept our invitation and enlighten us with his valuable words. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lokesh. Shall I share my screen?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
So, is my screen is visible?
Yeah, ma'am. Visible, ma'am.
So, thank you, Dr. Lokesh, for nice introduction. Also, I would like to thank PSV College of Engineering and Technology for inviting me as a resource person to talk about IoT for smart city development. So, a path towards sustainability. So, when we are discussing regarding the FTP, uh, Dr. Sedu told me like it was a sustainability related FTP. So I used to talk in many different topics. So finally, it was decided to talk about IoT for smart city development because nowadays artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and machine learning and drone, 3D printing, and green building, and all these concepts are emerging in a great way. So, being a civil engineer, we have great responsibility to work towards all these technologies, and we need to play a big role as a teacher. And also, it is very important to teach the students in terms of framing curriculum, syllabus, and all those things. And in our college, it is our autonomous institution, our colleges basically. So we have different curriculum, which are talking about this IoT and artificial intelligence, and we have curriculum for drones separately. So that way we are taking initiative to teach the students because ultimately or at the end of the day the students should understand all this concept because they are going to work in construction industry in future days. So it was the ultimate aim, and I think all the faculty present here in this SDP today can take some initiative to introduce the curriculum related to this IoT and drone and whatever may be. So if you need any clarification on that, you can just contact me so I can help you how you can frame the syllabus and all. So coming to today's topic, so I need to talk a little bit about what is IoT, and I will be showing you the small example how the IoT can be used in day-to-day application in life, our daily life. And being a civil engineer, what are the basic terminologies we have to understand? And I will be showing you some of the case studies. And finally, I am concluding my session by showcasing some of the students' projects we have done in our college that uses IoT, and we are working in artificial intelligence also, and we are working in various type of multidisciplinary projects. So I think today's content from my side will help you know to imagine. So imagine the role of civil engineer in future sustainability or sustainable world. and you can, once you understand all this, you can try to implement in your college also. So that is what I my plan in this FDP today. So this is what I'm going to cover you a little bit, Internet of Things, and what is drone, and AI, artificial intelligence, and how that can be extracted by a civil engineer, and similarly how those AI algorithms can help civil engineer to manage the project effectively. So this is what I'm going to talk, and finally how the robots are going to play a big role in civil engineering industry, and finally closing the session with building information modeling, because nowadays, for a large scale project, it was very important to uh, use building information modeling so that your project will be optimized in a right manner. So this is what the schedule of the session today. So I'm going to spend a nominal amount of time in each and every session, and these are the topics which I'm going to cover. So being a faculty, I understand, like, sitting for a FDP after 6:30 is very difficult because you are working in a college from 9 to 5. But still, I will try to make the session interesting, and I showed you that I will not be boring that much by showing lot of contents. So just I'm going to show you a simple content that can help you to understand these concepts. So let us understand that, and once you understand, and I will show you the projects, so that way you can think what kind of projects you can give it to your students in your college. So that is the ultimate aim of this session today. So before starting with the session, these are all the three questionnaires I want to address you today, like why IoT and what is basically IoT is, and as a civil engineer, where you can apply this IoT. So these are all the questions I'm going to address in today's session. So what is IoT and how does it work? So what is the full form of IoT? Any guesses? You can write it in a chat box, and someone can read in the chat box and tell me the answer. So participants, any idea what is full form of IoT? If you know, can you please write it in a chat box? So any answers? Yeah. So Internet of Things. Many of you are replied. Okay, good, good. So Rupa, Rakshana, Swaminathan. So it is the right answer. So by understanding the term IoT, it is basically you are going to connect the things. It could be computer, it could be a human being, or it could be some other electronic device. It could be sensor, or it could be Arduino platform, whatever may be. So if you connect the things with the help of internet, that is called IoT, and that is what the term IoT has been basically coined. So it is Internet of Things. So why we need to connect the device means, actually we need to share the information, and we can extract the information from the buildings or from the bridges or from towers or any other structure, and that information can be extracted with the help of the sensor, and that information can be used in the further analysis. So that is what the simple and basic terminology of IoT. Okay, so IoT is Internet of Things, where we connect computers and we interface the computer data with the human brain. Okay, so our human analysis. So that is what basically IoT is. So this is a simple clue or simple connection. So what is the answer? Probably you can guess. Here you have three pictures. So what is the answer? Any answer? You can just join these three images. This is the topic of the session today. That was the clue from my side. Yeah. So Prashantini and which will the answer right? Internet of Things. So this is internet, this is off, this is things. So right. And this is the another term, which is very closely connected with the IoT technology. Again, can you guess this? What do you mean by these two images? If you connect these two images, what is a single term? You could able to point. So any guesses? Yeah. And Anita ma'am and Prashantini again right answer. It is sensor. Okay, because IoT basically talks about information. So information could be strain, information could be stresses, information could be temperature, information can be moisture, information can be a load, anything for that matter. Information could be vibration. So all this information you have to extract, right? So if you have a beam, so you want to monitor the beam. For example, if you monitor how the beam is, the corrosion rate of the beam is taking place with respect to various time period. So that case, it is not possible to observe the beam or to monitor the beam manually each and every time. So what you need to do is you can have some electrochemical sensor that in that place, and you can insert those electrochemical sensors in the beam, and finally the sensors will try to extract the information, whether for an hour or whether for 30 minutes or whether for 10 minutes. You can program accordingly. So as soon as you make the programming, so the sensor will try to get the information from the beam, saying that so first 10 minutes this is what the corrosion rate. So after 10 days this is what the corrosion rate. So after 30 days this was the corrosion rate. So it will tell you the different types of corrosion levels in the beam. Similarly, you can measure whatever parameter you want. So for the different types of sensors are available. So once you find out your right sensor or suitable sensor, you can deploy the sensor in your structure or in your specimen. Then finally you can take the information. So that is what the main role of the sensor. So this is the terminology related to IoT. The answer is sensor. So I told you all these three terms. The first one is like giant network. So giant network means like you will have, so it is a big network of IoT systems, and what you can do, you can gather the data and as well as you can share the data, and the data could be anything. That is what I told. It could be temperature, it could be stress, it could be strain, or it could be corrosion rate. You can take it as CR, or if you want to monitor vibration, that also you can monitor. So all these things can be happening. So if you can monitor vibration also. So these are all some of the data that you can share. And in order to extract the data, you want sensors. So there are different type of sensors are available. Temperature sensor, and for you have accelerometer. So accelerometer is another, again one more type of sensor which will measure the vibration. So then you will have moisture sensor, MS moisture sensor, and you will have electrochemical ES. So all these things you have. Okay, so these are the which are embedded in every physical device. Okay, so this is basically, this slide will tell you basically what is IoT and what is sensors. So these sensors, they will continue to emit the data about the working state of the device. So if your beam is the specimen, it will tell you about the working state of the beam. If the column is your specimen, it will tell you about your column. If you are analyzing any foundation, then your foundation will be the working state. Okay, so it will tell you, irrespective of the structure, it will tell you the working state of the device. So say for example, let us take a simple coffee maker. So you have seen this type of coffee maker in the malls or shopping complex or airports or any public buildings, right? So this coffee maker is basically working on the concept of IoT. Let me explain how it is working. So a girl is coming to the near to the coffee maker and she's ordering for the coffee. Okay, so she told like I need a coffee. So once she order a coffee, her voice has been recognized and the command has been passed to the coffee maker. So the moment she orders, the coffee maker will try to find out what are the ingredients available in the cabinet, right? So you need sugar and you need coffee powder and you need milk. So you need all these things. So what the coffee maker will do, it will try to take for 1 glass of coffee, it will try to mix all the quantities in a right proportion and it will try to make a coffee out of that. So finally the woman will get a coffee. So this is how the IoT will be working. So there is no connection, human interference. Okay, only she's ordering a coffee. The machine will be doing everything. So it is basically understanding the logic and trying to do the process. This is what happening here. So that is how the IoT is working basically. So IoT is also having a great application in smart home. If you see here, so this is the smart home. So you will have printers. So you will have printer here. You will have speakers. You will have coffee maker. So if you take any home, you will have computers. You have laptop. You have desktop, and you will have CCTV cameras. You have washing machine. So you have all these appliances, right? So if you want to control all these appliances, you can have a simple application in your mobile phone. So that application will capture the working condition of each and every appliances present in your home with the help of IoT. So this is a simple logic example how the IoT can make a simple home into a smart home. So once the IoT has been initiated, the IoT concept, what happens? The data from CCTV, the data from red toaster, the data from digital doors or smart doors and laptop. So all this will be brought to a single platform in this mobile phone. So you can operate. So if you want to switch off the laptop, you can switch off the laptop from your office. So if you want to switch on the electric heater, you can switch on the electric heater. If you switch on your rice cooker, everything is possible once you connect your appliance with the help of IoT. So that is what the simple application of IoT. So similarly in the bridges also, you can find a great application of IoT. For example, like, so this is the bridge. Say for example, we have taken a cable stay bridge. So these sensors, like you have, uh, here you have a strain gauge sensor, and you have a concrete strain gauge sensor, and you have temperature sensor here, and all these things you have. So below the deck, so you can attach all these sensors. Then what happens, this sensor will sense the data. So once the vehicle will be passing over this bridge, say for example a lorry or some vehicle will be passing through the bridge, so from this vehicle the data will be captured. Okay, how much strain and what is the temperature at the current state. So everything will be captured, everything will be sensed and captured. Then this data will be taken to the data acquisition system, and from this data acquisition system it will go to wireless communication model, and from here the data center will maintain all the data, and from the data center the data will be analyzed. So this is how a simple bridge can be made, a smart bridge, and generally we call this technique as structural health monitoring. Okay, so if you want to monitor the bridge, you can do this. If you want to monitor a big tower, like cooling tower or something else, you can monitor that. So if you have dam, okay, so if you have dam like structures, that also you can monitor. So if you have retaining wall, so that also can be monitored. So likewise you can do large number of applications with the help of IoT. So far we have seen for bridges and smart home. So once you understood all this, let us understand how this IoT technology can be used in construction site. So if you take any construction site, there will be lot of teams. There will be purchase material procurement team. There will be design team. There will be management team. There will be estimation, and then material procurement. Then there will be planning team. There will be design engineer, site engineer. So all these people will be working separately for a project, right? So if you take a large scale projects, there should be a proper coordination between all these people. If there is no such coordination, there will be a delay in the project schedule, or there will be no the project will not get completed in right time. So considering all these things into mind, so what we can do is we can have a systematic approach with the help of IoT, so that everyone in the loop will be connected with the help of IoT technology, and the data will be transferred to the cloud platform. From the cloud platform, everyone can access. Say, for example, if a design engineer is making some correction in the location of the column or size of the column, that can be immediately intimated to the executive engineer, who is present in the site, with the help of the cloud platform. So by this way, everything will be connected, and all the people and all the machines present in the project will be connected together with the help of IoT. If you have so many machineries in the site, even that can also be connected. If we have 10 cranes, for example, so which crane is deployed at which place, and how many uh, like cranes are used today, and how many JCBs are used today. So all this data can be kept in a right way, and you can analyze the data further. Okay, so this is how you can do it. So next, so not only civil engineering, so you have IoT application in wide varieties. So even in a medical, IoT has the large applications, and in the industry and logistics and the buildings and transportation and the energy. So these are all, some of the applications where IoT will have a big role. So how data will be shared? So let us understand this. So the data will be shared with the help of a common language. So it is basically a programming part. You have so many programming platforms like Python and SQL and C, C++. So you can use any programming language for that matter, and you can try to communicate the data with the help of a programming language. Then, as I said, the data is emitted from various sensors. Then it will be finally sent to the IoT platform securely. So whatever data you just do it, that will be secured in a proper way. Say, for example, if you have Gmail, so whatever mail you are receiving or whatever documents you are sharing, everything will be stored in a server or a cloud, right? So whenever you need a data, or whenever you send a data to some mail to someone else, the data will be shared. Same scenario happens here. Only here the sensors will be involved to get the data. Then further analytics is performed on the data, and whatever information you require, that can be extracted. Say, for example, if you are monitoring a bridge for a period of 6 months, so I don't want the entire 6 months data. I want only the data which are very important to me. Only those data can be extracted, and from that data you can analyze things. And is there any dangerous situation? Is the strain is vibration is very high, or if the strain is more, or if the temperature is not normal? So all these quantities can be captured, and all these quantities can be taken into analysis, and so that you can monitor the business structures efficiently, and you can avoid any failure also in the future. That is what the ultimate aim. Why, as a civil engineer, we have to utilize this IoT concept. So again, this is a simple framework or simple network diagram where all these technologies are coming together. So as I have mentioned, so this will have wide application in energy, industry, and healthcare, transportation, defense, and I mentioned about smart home and connected car And wearables, nowadays you can see many of the people are using smartwatch, right? So whenever you wear a smartwatch, when you try to walk it will try to measure the steps count. It will tell you today you have done 3,000 steps, today you have done 4,000 steps. A simple sensor. Then it will tell you the body temperature, it will tell you your BP level, it will try to tell you, everything. So that is how the IoT is connecting the people. And once you have the data, it will be with the help of gateways and routers. It will be taken to the service provider. From the service provider, we will go to the data center. From the data center, wherever you want to have applications, you can do. If you want to develop a smart city, you can do it. If you want to develop a smart bridge, you can do it. So this is how a simple network of IoT will express. Okay. So far I have covered what is IoT. So IoT is a simple concept of connecting the devices. Why we need to connect the device? Basically to get the data and to share the data and to extract the valuable information. So then what is sensor? So I told you like sensor is a device which will extract the information from the specimen. Specimen can be anything for a civil engineer. Then this is what we have shown, and it will have a multiple application, right from medical, transportation, structure, then geotechnical, and logistics. So all these will have applications by using IoT. This is what so far I have covered. So let me give you a small break or small brainstorming session here. So you can see a picture here. There are some words hidden in this picture. So can you find out what are the hidden words in this picture today? There are some words hidden in these pictures. Let us take some 5 to 10 seconds, and I will go to chat box and I will check out what are the words you can identify. Just observe the picture closely. You can able to get some words. So we'll go to the chat box and see. Any answer? Or and cool story is correct. Page is correct. So let us go. Most of the answers are correct. So I will write down. See, nobody told about read, right? Here you have R-E-A-D, read. Then you have story, S-T-O-R, story. Nobody told. I think page, many of you told. So page is the right answer. And you have words here, W-O-R-D-S, words. And nobody told about novel. Here you have novel. N-O-V-E, novel. And many told R, but R is not right answer. S-T-O-R-O is the right answer. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So thank you for the response. It was amazing response. So as I mentioned, and in spite of many applications, we are going to see more about smart city applications because that is what the cup of tea today. So if you take any smart city, you have multiple applications, like for example, smart parking, smart transportation, smart roads.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you share the slide again, ma'am?
Yeah. I think it went okay.
Okay.
I'll share.
Now visible, ma'am.
I think still it's not visible, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
It's coming and going. 1 minute. It's going.
Now visible, ma'am.
Okay. So, if you take smart city, you have different components together. One is surveillance, that is understanding, what is happening, security about the security of the people or security of the place, something else. And you can also make cities, smart parks, smart cities, smart infrastructure, smart transportation, smart parking. So everything is coming under smart cities. So why we need to have a IoT concept is basically, we can have more comfortable and secure environment. So that is what the ultimate objective of IoT. So that is why everyone would like to implement IoT in their projects or something like that. And if you take IoT use cases, I told about traffic management, and even you can monitor the air quality. So in places like Delhi, metro cities like Chennai, Coimbatore, and Bangalore, and all those places, because of the population and transportation, the air quality index is very poor. So that case, no, we should have some proper monitoring system. Otherwise, if the air quality is very bad, the people will experience lot of breathing issues and so many health conditions. So that we can avoid. And I told about public safety solutions. Then we can plan for smart city, and we can plan for smart lighting, and also we can go for smart waste collecting. So IoT will have these many use cases for smart city applications. So if you take smart roads, so the you can have different types of sensors. So what it will do, it will try to fetch the GPS data from the driver's smartphone, and it will tell you the number, location, and the speed of the vehicle. So after this, what you can do is, if you understand all this, you can have a proper traffic management in your city. And sometimes if you go for traffic signals now, there will not be any vehicle, but there is a green signal for long time. And some cases, what happens, there will be lot of vehicles standing in a queue, but there is a red vehicle. So this is why means that we don't have proper system in Indian conditions, and we have the general timing and general timing for every traffic scenario, right? So with the help of IoT, what we can do is, so once I know, say for example, I will tell for Salem. So you have a place called Five Roads, right? Many of you, if you have visited Salem, you might be knowing. So once I want to plan a traffic signal for Five Roads, I can able to understand what is the traffic flow going towards New Bus Stand, what is the traffic going towards Junction, what is the traffic going towards Fairlands, by counting the number of vehicles, by finding the nature of the vehicles, everything. So what I can do, if I want more vehicles are standing on towards junction, I can make that signal green, and I will allow all the vehicles. So if I do this way, I can manage the traffic very easily, very effectively, especially in the working hours, peak hours. So mornings and evenings are peak hours because you have schools, you have offices, and you have colleges running every time. So it will be better if you have IoT, and that IoT will try to help you. It will automatically change the light signals based on your input. So this can be act as a central traffic management platform. So this can be taken up as a project, and you can do this. So this is what IoT can help you for traffic and road management system. And we have done one of the project here, and I will, at the last I will showcase you. So what type of project we can do. So next one is smart parking. So like how the IoT is used for the traffic management, it can be used for parking also. Say for example, if you have Reliance Mall or some malls, Phoenix Mall or malls in your city, So it is very difficult to get the parking right during the peak hours. So if you have any sensing device or CCTV cameras installed over there, you can find out what are the parking lots available to park your vehicle. So accordingly, you can try to occupy the place, and accordingly you can plan your trip, right? So this will give you a notification to the driver, and they can use the map on their phone, and they can find the parking spot quickly and easily without wasting so much of time. So this way, the IoT can help you for go for smart parking system. So next one is public transport. Even the IoT can help for public transportation. So for example, Redbus, right? So many of you might have used Redbus and so many other applications. So if I want to travel from Salem to Bangalore, so I can try to get the data. So how many seats are available, whether I can book the ticket like as per my wish. If I want lower berth, I can book lower berth. If I want upper berth, I can book upper berth. So whatever seat location I want, I can prefer that, and also I can. By this way, the data can be shared among all the passengers and to the drivers, basically. So the driver will know how many seats are filled or how many seats are vacant, and accordingly he can plan his trip, and as well as the passenger can plan where they have to board and where they have to get in and what is the time taken for that entire travel. So all these things will be basically data, right? So this data will be taken, and that you can even track the bus. If your sister or if your brother is traveling in a bus, you can track where the bus is coming, whether it's near to Bangalore or it is 30 minutes to reach the bus. So it was basically tracked with the help of GPS. So by this way, the IoT can help a public transport system to work in a efficient way. So the next comes utilities. So utilities in the sense like if you want to do the smart billing or smart meters, so those smart meters can help you to catch the data, how much amount of water or how much amount of electricity or how much amount of gas has been consumed by each building. So say for example in a period of 1 year, you are watching the water consumption. In the month of May, suddenly there is a sudden usage of more water by the people in the home. Then you can find out, okay, this month I am consuming more water, so that there will be some leakage in the home, or there will be something, some we are wasting the water, or we are so many reasons are there, right? So we can find out the approximate reasons and we can rectify that. So if you are living in an apartment, or if you are living in a villas, or if you are living in a 30-story apartment, the entire 30 houses will be connected together in the IoT, and we can track which house is consuming more water or which house is wasting the water more by simply opening the tap or simply consuming without any reason. So these can be tracked together. If this data can be tracked together, we can find out what is uh, the efficiency rate, or how these taps or these water systems can be made efficient. So that can be done. So similarly, it can be done for electricity. Similarly, it can be done for gases. Then again, street lighting. So most of the time, what happens for Indian conditions, so that these lights are on for entire night system. Even there will not be any vehicle movement, or there will not be much traffic. These lights are on. So by that way, we are wasting a lot of electricity, right? So we can have smart lighting system. So that light will be dim, that light can be brightened, that light can be switched off. So based on the movement of the people or based on the movement of the vehicle, the sensor will be automatically sense the situation, or it will count the number of peoples, and accordingly it will try to change the intensity level of the light by making it dim, by making it bright, by making it switch off. So all these three conditions are possible. So by this way, I can make a small street lighting. And waste management is something else where the garbage vehicles, right? They will come and pick up the waste in your doorstep. So if I have some smart sensor in my garbage bins, so once these bins are full, the information will be sent to the driver. So instead of going to 5 roads, the driver can go to junction, because the junction place show more filled garbage cans. than 5 roads. So the driver can be routed given instructions so that he has to go to junction first, and after 2 days he can go to 5 roads. So that way the information will be passed to the driver. So what we can do, we can save the time, we can save the fuel, and the entire waste management can be made it very very efficient. So this can be done. And once you collect the waste, you can plan with the help of IoT. You can plan whether it has to go to recycle plant, or whether it has to go to manufacturing plant, or it has to go to any safety authorities in case of any medical devices. So all this can be planned in case of waste management. I told about air quality sensor, right? You have different amount of gases in the air like CO, NO, NO2. So these gases will have some permissible limit and permissible norms. For example, if you take nitrate, the nitrate should not exceed 1 milligram per liter. Okay. So if it is going beyond 1 milligram liter, the sensor will automatically sense the data and it will try to fix the data whether CO is there, nitrogen and sulfur oxides, and if it is exceeding the limit, it will try to give you the alarms or it will try to give you the message. So by understanding the message, you can try to find out what are the reasons for the possible increase in level of all these gases, and you can take appropriate measures. So this is the another application. And public safety, you know, the CCTV sensor will be installed by government everywhere. So this data can be, once there is some crimes or any other illegal activities are happening, so the data from the CCTV camera should be sent as a message with the help of IoT to the police or to the department whichever is responsible. So before the crime happens, they can come and do the appropriate measures. So this can be done with the help of IoT. So to sum up, IoT has multiple applications including smart parking and smart transportation and smart waste management, smart air quality monitoring. So all these are there. So according to your interest, you can choose any one of the field and you can just work on that. So this is how the entire flow or entire process is working basically. So once you see all this, I will show you some of the case studies and some of the projects that you can think of later. So before this, no, let us see a small video on how IoT works. So for this, I will try to open that video. You are getting audio sound?
No, ma'am.
No? 1 minute. Just a minute. I think I can show you in the YouTube, just a small, because it is asking for a tab. Yeah.
Slide is not visible, ma'am.
Yeah, one I not shared one still.
Okay, ma'am.
Only I'm sharing.
Yeah, ma'am. Now visible.
and realize that you might not have turned off the air conditioner
Audio also coming?
Yeah, ma'am. Coming, ma'am.
while leaving your house. Instead of traveling all the way back home, what if you could use your smartphone to know the status of your AC and perhaps even turn it off? Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, yes. And this can be achieved with the help of the Internet of Things. Until recently, access to the internet was limited via devices like the desktop, tablet, or smartphone. But now, with IoT, practically all appliances can be connected to the internet and monitored remotely. IoT is shaping the way we live our lives. It helps us get a better insight into the working of things around us. So, what exactly is the Internet of Things? IoT is a system of interrelated devices connected to the internet to transfer and receive data from one to the other. A smart home is the best example of IoT. Home appliances like the AC, doorbell, thermostats, smoke detectors, water heaters, and security alarms can be interconnected to share data with the user over a mobile application. The user can now get detailed insight into the working of the devices around him. Think about it. Until recently, the internet helped people connect and interact with each other. But now, inanimate objects or things have the ability to sense the surroundings, to interact and collaborate with one another. For example, in the morning when your alarm goes off, the IoT system can open the window blinds, turn on the coffee pot for you, and even turn on the water heater. Although all of this is fascinating, there's a lot that goes on in the background to ensure seamless functioning. From effective communication between devices to accurate processing of the data received, a lot of components are involved. In the context of IoT devices, hardware can be classified into general devices and sensing devices. The general devices are the main components of the data hub and information exchange. They are connected either by wired or wireless interfaces. Home appliances are a classic example of such devices. The sensing devices, on the other hand, include sensors and actuators. They measure the temperature, humidity, light intensity, and other parameters. These IoT devices are connected to the network with the help of gateways. These gateways, or processing nodes, process the information collected from the sensors and transfer it to the cloud. The cloud acts as both the storage and processing unit. Actions are performed on the collected data for further learning and inferences. Wired and wireless interfaces like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, GSMs, and so on are used to provide connectivity. To ensure its ubiquity, applications need to support a diverse set of devices and communication protocols, from tiny sensors capable of sensing and reporting the desired factor, to powerful back-end servers that are utilized for data analysis and knowledge extraction. To help and its working, let's take a simple scenario. Let's suppose you want to water your garden every time the moisture level in the soil drops. Instead of doing it manually, you could automate it using IoT. The sensors and actuators installed gauge the soil for its moisture. This information is
So basically what happens is IoT has great application in agriculture also. So if a farmer is having multiple types of crops in his land or multiple types of crop varieties in his land, so every time he has to understand what is the water consumption by each crop. So if he or she has IoT in hand, so what we can do is whenever the moisture level is reduced in the crop, automatically the sensor will be triggered and the information will be passed to the pump, and immediately the pump will be made on. So by that way you can supply the water to the particular plant, so that you are not at all wasting the water, and also you are efficiently watering the plant, and also you are saving the water. So this way IoT can help you in a great way. So that is what has been explained in this video.
sent to the IoT gateway with the help of communication protocols like MQTT or HTTP. The gateway significantly aggregates data and feeds it to the cloud with the help of Wi-Fi LAN. Once the moisture level drops, the system is immediately triggered and the sprinklers are turned on. However, with the information stored in the cloud, a detailed analysis like the time of the day the sprinkler was turned on, the rate at which the moisture in the soil reduces, and so on, can be done, and the report could be sent over to you on your smartphone over an app. With the improved response, monitoring, and analytical capabilities, IoT is being adopted in almost all industries and domains, opening doors to endless applications. Today, IoT is being used extensively to lessen the burden on humans. To name a few, IoT is deployed for smart homes, wearables, watches and bracelets, smart cars, smart farming, smart retail, smart grids, smart city, and smart healthcare. With such a wide spectrum of applications, the future of IT looks more promising than ever before. In 2018, there were about 23 billion connected devices, which was more than double the world population. According to experts, there will be over 80 billion devices by 2025. IoT is a vision to connect all devices with the power of the internet, always learning and always growing. Now that you have a picture of what IoT is, here's a simple question for you. Which of the following technologies is not used as an interface for a network? 1. Wi-Fi. 2. In the comment section below. 3.
So this is what a simple application of IoT in many places. So let me share you the screen again. So this was the knowledge corner which I want to share you today. Like Internet of Things is was the initially coined by a person called Kevin Ashton. So in the year 1999, it was not a new concept. It was already a concept which has been emerged in the early age. Like he's the man who want to make the computers to behave like a human beings. So for that, what he did, he want the computers to understand the algorithm, to understand the scenario, and to make the decisions and to make the data processing. So that is how this concept has been evolved. Okay. So far we have covered what is IoT, what is sensor, what are the multiple applications of IoT in smart cities, and how these IoTs are basically working for a bridge or for a construction project or for a coffee making machine. So after understanding all this, just we'll take a 2 minutes brainstorming session. So here is a simple puzzle for you, and just to think and understand and to answer here. So take 10 seconds to just come out what is the answer for this last line. So take 10 seconds. So let me check the text box. So the answer is, what is the answer? 27,110. Any other answer apart from Anita ma'am and 101, 110? Any other answers? So let me work out the answer. So each red flower is 20, right? That's why 20, 20, 20. And each blue flower is 5. Then only 20 plus 5 plus 5, 30. Then each yellow flower is 1. Then only 5 minus 2, 3. Here you have only one yellow flower. So 1 plus 20 multiply 5. So answer is 101. I think someone is answered 101. That is the right answer. Okay, thank you. Then once you understand IoT, let us understand what are smart cities and how India is progressing towards smart city development in each and every state, and what is the government schemes and what are the government plans to expand smart city concept worldwide. I think at India level or national level. Let us see on that. So there is a separate website called smartcities.gov.in. So this is the official government website or government portal where you can get all the details related to smart cities mission. So smartcities.gov.in. So I will go to that website. Just a minute. Smartcities.gov.in. So just a minute. Okay. There may be some error in the page. So I will tell you, you have different menus and what are the, you can see here, what is the mission of the government and what is the budget allocated for the smart city, and you will have different menu like downloads where you can find out all the guidelines to execute as a smart city, and they have different galleries and what are the cities and what are the governing bodies and what are the a team that is looking for all this smart city government and any tenders related to smart city projects. Everything is available here. So later on you can just go through this website and you can find out the related information. So if you take India, there are 99 cities in India that has been identified as smart cities, and you have different cities here. I have mentioned here, and after this also many of the cities has been added by the government. Even now, I think Erode, Salem, Karur, and all those districts also has been added as a smart cities. And say for example, let us see Coimbatore, how the Coimbatore city has been evolved as a smart city, and you can see the simple news clipping Coimbatore tops in implementing smart city projects in Tamil Nadu. So this is what the state of Coimbatore city, and out of the total budget, the initially 5,151 projects are proposed by the government, and out of this 25% of the projects are completed, and 48,000 crore has been approved in the previous cases, but after that still lot of budget has been approved by the government, and 17,000 crore has been released by the government, and out of that 6,160 has been used for different parking and some other facilities using under smart city concept. And this was the scenario in Coimbatore. Nearly 18 projects are completed out of 21 projects. Mainly in Coimbatore, if you see, they have done rejuvenation of many lakes. There are almost 8 lakes in the city. So these lakes has been rejuvenated under smart city concept. And as I mentioned, Coimbatore, Erode, Chennai were positioned in the second and third place. That in the sense of executing smart cities work. So this is a simple smart city project Coimbatore. They have implemented a floating bridge in Valankulam Lake, so which is part of the smart city project. So you have smart city project. I will just show you a small video, because once you see the video you will be able to understand clearly so how that smart city. I think I have to share that. 1 minute.
Coimbatore city boasts of 8 lakes located symmetrically to each other. Those are Krishnampati, Selvampati, Kumaraswamy, Selva Chintamani Kulam, Periyakulam, Valankulam, and Kurichi. The Coimbatore Smart City will have an integrated plan which paves way to connect and develop the ecosystem across the 8 lakes. Selva Chintamani Lake, one of the major lakes in the city. This lake has witnessed lots of waste disposal over the years. Owing to the Coimbatore Corporation restoration work under the Smart City plan, this lake has got a new lease of life, and the people of Coimbatore now enjoy this lake's immaculate vision. Periyakulam Lake, a hotspot for birds. This lake gradually got encroached with water hyacinth. Regaining its lost beauty, this lake has now got a new stretch of road, beautified tank bound with solar-powered lamps and fences. Periyakulam Lake, people promenade, making the Coimbatorians proud. This promenade gives a picturesque view of the lake, a cycle track, a cafeteria, play equipment, and much more. Valankulam Lake under flyover. The unused space under the Valankulam Lake flyover is getting a fresh lease of life. This entire project uses a floating floor concept, giving a mesmerizing feel to the smart citizens. This is the most innovative and aesthetic way in which the space has been utilized. Coimbatore Smart City, the city of glorious past, is transforming into a city with a promising future.
So this is a simple example I want to show you how the Coimbatore now has been turned into a smart city project. So okay. So since the time is 7:40, I want to go to the some of the projects that we have done, because this is all theory part. I want to skip it right now. Yeah. So this is a project, some of the projects that has been done by my students, UG and PG students. So this is one of the project which is funded by IEA, and this has been done almost 20 in the 2019, I think. So it is a PG project. So what we have done is we have taken a bridge near to Omalur, and we tried to find out what are all the health conditions of the bridge, because many residents and many of the slum areas are present below the bridge, and also there is a railway track below the bridge. So we want to understand what is the vibration response of the bridge. So this is what the title of the bridge, and this so for this bridge we have utilized so many interfaces. I will tell you one by one. So first, this is accelerometer. So this will try to observe the vibration in X, Y, Z directions of the bridge deck. So this accelerometer sensor we have attached below the deck portion, and before doing the experiment, the students went there and they have done the brief study. Brief survey has been taken, how many two-wheelers, how many four-wheelers are passing through the bridge each and every day, and what is the traffic intensity. Everything has been analyzed. Then we have tried to attach this accelerometer below the deck portion, and this is what the simple Arduino programming that was written by the students. So this program can be done with the help of Arduino algorithm, and the same interface you can use. And whatever input and whatever output you want, accordingly the program can be written. So this data will be transferred to the hardware component that is called LabVIEW. So this is the instrument which is available in all the EC departments. So if you are in your college, if you have EC department, you can go and talk to them. They will tell you what is LabVIEW and how that can be used. So this LabVIEW port has been attached to the computer. So the data from the sensor will be coming to the computer, and with the help of programming, this data will be stored in a laptop. So that is how we have done this project, and we try to find out the frequency versus time response for this bridge for a specific duration time period, and this is how the response has been received. So you can see what is the amplitude of the current state of the bridge for each time interval. And this is how the dashboard has been designed. So you can see in different direction, X, Y, and Z directions. So these are all the accelerometer response that has been captured. So once the response has been captured, we have taken the condition at 3 different levels. One is safer condition, where you don't have any, we don't bother about much about intensity level of the vibration parameter. If the vibration parameter is alarming, we have to send a signal to the government authorities. So in this case, we have sent a signal to railway people, so saying that the bridge needs some maintenance process. So if the vibration is really very high, so it is means that it was unsafe condition. So 3 different conditions has been taken, and according to the response of the bridge, the 3 conditions were analyzed, and information will be passed to the respective authorities. This is one of the project, and this is another project that our students has been done in the year 2020. It was Best IST, it won Best IST Student Project Award. So it was like a wall crack detection system, so which has been done. So what we have done is we have utilized the image processing here rather than IoT. So we have captured a crack in a wall, and we have done the image processing using MATLAB. So with the help of RGB concept, it will try to identify what is the length of the crack, what is the width of the crack. So once the dimensions are observed, so it will go and refer the codal provisions, and if it is severe crack, accordingly it will suggest you the remedial measures. If the crack is not dormant, and it will tell you what has to be done. So this is the another project that has won Best Student Project Award in the year 2020. And this is again another project that has won award in the year 2024. Again, it is a PG project where we have utilized machine learning algorithm to optimize the reinforcement at slab and beams. So this algorithm, what they basically do is, you have different set of data, right? If you have in a project, if you have 20 beams and 30 columns, something like that, so it will try to capture the data of size of the beam, and what is the, whether it is a single reinforced beam, whether what is the kind of reinforcement has to be given, what is the specification of the beam. So accordingly, by taking the span of the beam, by accordingly taking the loading condition, it will try to suggest you what is the right reinforcement that you can plan. So by doing so, you can optimize the reinforcement, and further you can train the algorithm so that the algorithm will better understand what kind of reinforcement has to be done. So for this, we have utilized some of the machine learning algorithm called supervised classification, and we trained the algorithm. We have taken initially a residential building, and we have done the modeling and analysis using StatPro. From the StatPro, we have extracted 10,000 set of data. From the set of data, we have given the input into a MATLAB machine learning toolbox, from where the different kinds of matrices has been developed. And from that, finally, you can conclude what is the reinforcement that can be optimized for each and every case study. So this is how the entire project has been done. Here you can see some of the MATLAB applications, and this is what the StatPro model we have developed, and this is what the data set that has been trained using machine learning algorithm. So once you do this, you can predict what is the right choice of a particular reinforcement for a set of size of the particular beam or particular column method. And finally, it will try to understand the accuracy level of the data that has been analyzed. So this is how it will appear. So this is again another project that we have done, and this is another project that our students has done. So this is IoT based smart helmet for construction workers. So the name itself suggests we have utilized the IoT concept, and this concept has been already we have patented. And you can see here the helmet has been designed with the help of some sensors, some buzzers, some of the connections here. So this helmet should be worn by any construction worker. So the construction workers are the persons who are involving at multiple places at multiple construction sites. So if they wear this helmet, we can track the location of the construction worker. Also, we can monitor the health condition of the worker by just simply measuring what is the BP level. If the suddenly if there is any equipment or something is falling on their head, immediately the helmet try to understand what is the object that is over the head. Finally, it will try to. I think somebody's mic is on. Yeah, thank you. Then finally, it will try to tell you the worker is in a safe condition or unsafe condition. So by this way, we can help the construction workers by just asking them to wear IoT-based smart helmets. Then next thing is this is another. This is the case study. You can see the students went to the construction site and they asked the labor to wear the helmet, and we got the feedback from the laborers. This was the survey that has been done, and this was the location tracker that was installed at the top of the helmet to track the location of the server. Then another project is AI-based traffic monitoring system. I told like smart city, we have to monitor the traffic in a right sense so that we can efficiently manage the traffic. So this is what the AI algorithm that has been developed. The coding part has been written, and the bus alarm has been induced here. So for this, we have taken 3 junctions in Salem. Have the web camera into place, so it will try to capture the vehicle type and vehicle intensity. Here you can see the images here. So once the image has been captured, it will try to identify what is the speed of the vehicle and what is the type of vehicle, everything. Then accordingly, the algorithm will suggest you, to optimize the traffic at each and every junctions. So this is the another project that has been done by the students. For that, we have done modeling in modeling of traffic junctions in some of the softwares, and it will try to suggest you what is the optimized traffic route that you can follow. Here you can see, here we have designed according to number of cars, and this side you have some number of cars, and based on the count of the car, the junctions has been effectively designed. So this modeling and simulation part has been done here, and those scenarios are mapped with the practical conditions. Then finally the solution has been arrived. So this is another project. Then another project is sensor-based leakage detection system. Again, it is a IoT-based concept. So for this, we have taken a simple location in our college. So this is a location in our college. So this is the simple pipe connection. We have installed flow meter there, and it was IT block. So the algorithm has been written. So we have utilized so many flow sensors. So this is a flow sensor. So this is the Arduino setup that has been developed. For this, microcontroller and Wi-Fi has been used, and students have used rectifier also to convert AC current into DC current. Then breadboard has been used, and some of the wires. Then they have used the buzzer and LCD display. So once you use all these, if there is any leakage in the system, automatically the sensor will try to identify there is the leakage, and it will give you the alarming signal or buzzer. Okay, so this is where the leakage detection has been captured, and it has been communicated to the concerned plumber or concerned person. So this is the simple water leakage detection app that has been developed by the students. So by doing this, we have saved a lot of water. So this has been implemented in our campus, and there is a future plan that this model can be implemented into different blocks in our campus. So this is into patent stage right now. So soon we are going to patent in this concept. So these are all some of the algorithms that we have into place, and yeah. So IoT is big concept, and it is a future trend, and you can see a lot of job opportunities are there for people who are good in IoT. And these are some of the companies that are looking into IoT concept: Microsoft, Honeywell, and Schneider Electric. All these technologies. These are list of the IT companies in India that are basically working in IoT concept. So this is what the end of my session is. So finally, if you are a faculty, so you have to update any of the skills. Otherwise, it's very difficult, because each and every college is converting into autonomous state. So if it is converting into autonomous state, they will be having their own curriculum and syllabus. So if you are framing a syllabus in IoT, definitely you have to guide a project related to IoT concept. So update yourself and explore these technologies. You can take up simple NPTEL examinations, because they have a lot of courses offering in these areas. So you can take up simple NPTEL courses. You can develop the curriculum. You can work with multidisciplinary with the help of EC people or CSC people in your college and do some small projects. So this is what a simple advice from my side. And yeah, to conclude with, update yourself, and otherwise it will be very difficult. So this is what I usually tell to students, because we as a teacher, no, we have great responsibility to teach our students regarding what is IoT, what is machine learning, simple terms, and how these terms can be utilized in construction industry. If you are not updating yourself, then there is no value for any civil engineering degree. Then a simple mason can do your work and he can construct a project and he can earn. So that is what the message I want to convey here. So be a thirsty crow, not a thirsty crow, be a smart thirsty crow, and don't be a hard work, and learn all these technologies and be a smart work and go ahead. So this is what the thing I want to convey here, and this is what the end of my session is. So I think I can share my number here. So this is my number. So you can take my number, and so in future, if you have any clarifications on, even we are working in drone, we have done so many projects in drone, and we got funding also for the drone projects and drone seminars. We have conducted already, and we are working in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And most of our faculty, even our head of the department, Dr. R. Malati, she is also working along with us. She's also working in many projects, and most of our students are working in IoT. So any doubts or any clarifications related to such concepts, you can always feel free to call me or contact me. And we have special labs in our college, IoT lab for civil students. We are giving training to our civil students every year on how IoT can be made into smart parking, smart infrastructure, smart home applications. So that also we are giving training. So you can arrange one day webinar or one training sessions also for your students or for your faculty. So that also we are doing, and we are working on green building also. So we are certified IG professionals, myself and our HOD Dr. R. Malati, we both are IGBC professionals. So, and we are guiding some of the green projects also, and we have green building in our campus, and we are also working for net zero building in our campus with the support of the management and the principal. So this is how the entire campus has been working towards sustainability or working towards the eco-friendly campus or green campus. So these are all some of the initiatives, so that I would like to share here. So further, any questions or something you have, any doubts, you can ask me now. So I will go to the chat box, or if you want to type it in a chat box also fine. I can answer there. Yeah, and thank you for all the participants for nicely listening for last 1 hour, 1.5 hour. Thank you for that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to type your question in the chat box. So it will be a pleasure for me to answer to the questions. Any questions by the participants? So if there is no question, please take some time to recall all these concepts, whatever I have discussed here. Take some time. If you have any clarifications, please feel free to get back to me, and definitely I will help you. Being a civil engineer or being a civil faculty, I always feel that it is always good to share information with the other our own community, civil engineering community. So feel free to contact me at any time. So it's always my pleasure to help you, and thank you PSV College for organizing such a great FDP in this 1 week. I think you will have a great learning in this 1 week. And thank you, special thanks to Dr. Sedu Kalsi, because he has arranged he invited me to share some of my knowledge on this platform. And also thank each and every faculty in civil engineering department, for organizing such a great evening. Thank you all. If there is no questions, I think we can wind up. Yeah, one question is there from What are some of the issues you faced, and what are the permissions you needed to get in order for conducting the survey? Since the area of study seems to be in dense area of population, always we used to do like, no, if you are working on any traffic project, we'll go to the concerned traffic police who is present there, and we will try to explain the project and what are the outcomes of the project. And officially, not officially, but of course orally we get the permission. There is not much problems or challenges we face. So if we do any project related to the municipal community or water management, such kind of thing, we go and approach community office, we go and approach municipality office, and we'll tell this is what the project is, and we also explain them how our project will help them to get the data. Then definitely they will get convinced. So there is not much problem we faced, and only the problem is no traffic problem, that students will go and find some location during high peak hours. That was the challenge faced by the students. Otherwise, we'll go to any construction site which is known to us, and we will take the feedback from the neighbor. And we have our own construction is going on in our campus, and we go there and we interact with the neighbors for making helmets and such kind of things. So it was quite simple only, not that much tedious. We have not faced any big challenge as of now. So that was the question to the answer to the first question. And coming to the second question, what if in case we need to be a aerial surveying, especially in black spot areas? It's a good question. So for that only the drones are coming into picture. If you want to do a aerial surveying, use deploy drones, and the drones will fly. They will try to capture the images. Once the drone will capture the image, you have process the image using some of the post processing softwares. Even we worked on that. We have taken some of the aerial images of some of the estates of our own management, and we have taken some of the surveys, and also we are capturing our own campus with the help of drones, and we are trying to find out there is any crack issues or any water leakage problem in the roof areas, and that also we are doing. So if you have any black spot areas, aerial surveying using drones are advisable. And any city in India have utilized maximum amount of IoT for sustainable development. Almost government, as I mentioned, the task has been given to all the cities, as I have shown in one of the slide. Almost more than 100 cities are under smart development or sustainable development. Not particular city we can name it. Almost all the cities, they have their unique way of implementing IoT concept, because if you take each city will have different geographical location, different infrastructure development. So we cannot measure the city, this city is first, this city is second. Each city is proceeding in their own way with the help of whatever infrastructure or whatever geographical or whatever the I mentioned about lakes, right, in Coimbatore city. If you take Salem, we don't have that many lakes to connect, right? The Salem is planning in a different way. If you take Chennai, again the Chennai will have different challenges to implement smart city. They have this different concepts to implement as a smart city. So each way, each city is unique in implementing smart city. We cannot rate according to the implementation as of now. So each city is having their own unique style of implementing smart city or sustainable concept. And ANS process, I take it I don't understand the question properly. You are asking for artificial neural network. Like again, it should be like if you want to optimize the data, or if you want to go for optimization of any structure, for example, truss or beam or something else, no, you can apply ANN algorithms. That is artificial neural network. So artificial neural network is something where the entire process has been assumed as neurons, and each neuron now is connected together in our body, right? So that way you have to connect as a neurons, and you have to take genes and chromosomes as your input, and it could be material, it could be size, it could be dimension, whatever may be. So that way ANN can help you if you are generally working for optimization problems. I can suggest ANN as one of the tools. And similarly, you have general other optimization tools like genetic algorithm, GN we call, and ANN is another algorithm. Again, each problem will have specific solution and specific algorithm to take on. That way ANN can have a great application. So I think I have answered all the questions. Is there any questions from the audience? And thank you everyone for your patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am. This is a very informative session, ma'am. At the same time, many of the persons asking relevant to IoT. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for answering to all the questions, ma'am.
Okay, I also given my number into chat box also. If you really interested, you can note down, and if you are interested, we can do collaboration projects, and we are working on some consultancy projects also regarding smart cities. So anything is welcome from my side. I'm always open to work with any of you. And thank you everyone once again, and have a nice day ahead. And thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Participant, we posted the feedback from in chat box. I hope that we can leave from this session, ma'am.